and welcome to my channel. I'm SpeedyXStitcher. My real name is Esther. This is my Flosstube number 39. I don't think it's going to be a very long one today because due to work I did not stitch as much as I usually do. But I do have some new stuff to show you, as well as a finished and a fully finished object. So let's get started. I think I'm first going to show you my WIPGo because I forgot to talk about WIPGo the last time, I think. So let's start with August. In August, the WIPGos were number 12 and 15. Number 15 was to organize my fancy floss. I did that. And number 12 was 300 stitches on a mini project, and since I didn't have any mini projects I had to start a new one. So this one is called Stone Age, and I did a little more than 300 stitches. Yeah, and it's on 20 count. I think it's called Smoky Blue. I'm going to put it in a little dollhouse frame after and into my set box where I have the other of my minis as well. Yeah, I don't think there's much more to say about that. Then we move on to WIPGo for September. That was number 4 and number 11. And number 4 was a new start. And since in September I want to stitch a lot of spooky stuff, of course I started with a new spooky one. This one is called 13 Spooky Street, and I got this far. This is on 18 count Ada, handed out by me. Actually, it's a leftover from my Buffy sampler, and I really like this project, and I stitched it with sulky this time around. Every time I start a new project, which happens quite often, I always tend to just take the call for colors, and that kind of annoys me because I do have a lot of fancy floss. I do have a lot of sulky. So when I kitted up 4 different projects. The others I haven't started yet. As you can see, all of them I kitted up with sulky. And this was the first of them I started. Yeah. WIPGo number 11 for September is to fully finish a project. I have not reached that yet, but I did. At the time the numbers were drawn, I did not have any FOs, so I decided that the next FO was going to be the one that I'm going to FFO. I might FFO it today. It's Which Is You by Soda Stitch. I haven't pressed it yet because I'm going to finish it later. I really love the way this turned out. It's on 16 count Ada 30, and it was such a fun stitch. I think I'm going to make it into a little pillow. So yeah, and even though it's a soda stitch, there was absolutely 0 back stitching. That's not very common, I think. Usually soda stitch has quite a lot of very good backstitching because it makes the project pop. But I really love stitching on this one. And I love this Ada. And as you can see, there are some smaller pieces left of it when I have turned this into a pillow. Oh, that was the backside, sorry. So that were my WIPGos. Then I decided to make a tag on Instagram. It's called Stitch Spooky in September 2024. So if you're stitching any Halloween kind of projects, you're more than welcome to join and use the tag. I picked out 9 projects I have to work on. That doesn't mean that I cannot work on other stuff, Halloween or not. But I did already, as I said, I picked 9 projects and I already stitched on 4 of them. One of them was Witch's Shoe, which I have now finished, as you saw. Then I stitched on the Halloween jars, also by SpeedyXStitcher. Halloween jar number 2. This is on 14 count Ada, hand dyed by me. And as you can see, here is a lot of backstitching, and the backstitching really makes the project pop, or the motif pop. I will put up a photo so you can see where I was the last. I will put up photos so you can see where I was the last time, if I remember to take a photo, that is. I also stitched quite a lot on Noctiflora's Weeping Helligore. So now it's moving along. It's on 16 count Ada, hand dyed by me, and I love the way it looks. It's absolutely gorgeous. There's a lot of color changing, but it really makes a difference, I think, in the way it looks. The reason why I picked these projects is that some of them I might be able to finish before the end of September. Let me see. Oh yeah, then we have a WIPGo project. It's called Vintage Pumpkin Carriage. It looks like this. I think this one I should be able to finish because I need to stitch the rest of the carriage and then the skeleton horse, and then it's done. I'm stitching it on, I think it's 18 count silver lurex, hand dyed by me. And I love the way the colors look on this piece of fabric, and I like the way the fabric turned out. So luckily I have a lot of it left. I think it's very suitable for Halloween projects. So these were the 4 that I already stitched on. The others I haven't stitched on yet, so I'm just going to show you the photos. So the first one is Halloween Cat. I forgot the designer's name. I think it's Stitches Lovers Shop on Etsy. There are 2 Autumn Lane Stitchery. Sorry about that, that's the neighbor. Tonight We Ride and Something Wicked This Way Comes. I have also chosen Halloween Witch by SpeedyXStitcher, as well as Halloween Owls by Madame Chantilly. So, as I said before, if you're going to stitch something spooky in September, you're more than welcome to join my tag Stitch Spooky in September 2024. Let's move on to what else I have been stitching on. I have 3 more projects, so you see it's going to be a very short Flosstube. Of course, I stitched on Vampire, and you might wonder why didn't I put up Vampire, that I had to stitch on that, and that the answer is very easy to that, because it's very easy for me to stitch on Vampire because I love stitching on it. So I chose projects where I usually have to persuade myself to stitch a bit on them. most of them anyway. So this is Vampire. It looks like this now. I could probably have finished it a long time ago, but I do force myself not to stitch on it maybe more than once a week, because when I start stitching on it, I love it. This is by the WIPGo. It was a Patreon. Yeah, it's still a Patreon pattern. It's on 16 count Ada, which I hand dyed. I think it's from the same batch, maybe you could call it that, as the Weeping Helligor. Oh, I think it's beautiful. I have also worked quite a bit, not that much, but on my Autumn Sampler by Tiny Modernist. As you can see, I have a lot of projects to work on. I mean, I usually have between 60 and 70 projects, WIPs. So I really don't need more patterns or new projects. And what happened when the last issue of CrossStitcher Magazine came out? This happened. These autumnal pincushions, they are so cute. There was nothing to do. I just had to stitch them. And I think I did, no, I don't think. I know I did a couple of years ago. They had a kind of the same series. I can put up a photo where I did 5 of them. And I love stitching those little ones. Anyway, I had absolutely no idea which one I would start with. I decided to find a piece of fabric where all of them, where I could stitch, where there was room for all 6 of them, because I think I'm going to stitch all 6 of them. They are so cute. And then I found all the colors, and well, then I started stitching. And the first one I began is the one I call Berries. And I started yesterday, and I love the way it turns out. As you can see, it's not wider than this, and then it's 56 by 56 stitches, and this is absolutely gorgeous. I was in doubt when I made it into Pattern Keeper compatible patterns, because I didn't like the way some of the colors looked on the screen. But I decided, well, the first one you are going to stitch with the call for colors, and if that doesn't turn out the way you like it, you can change it. But this is one of the projects where I wasn't sure about the colors, and now I just love the way it looks. So I'm going to stick with the call for colors, and as you can see, this 18 count easy count, there's plenty of room for 6 of them, and I don't know if I'm going to make them into pillows, pincushions, decoration. I think I'm going to make them into pillows, so I have something to decorate with for autumn. But just look the way the berries look. Oh man. And I'm really looking forward to stitching the berries in here, even though it's fully confetti. It's not a lot of confetti each berry, but I decided I'm going to do everything around first, I think. So this was the first one. So that was the first one. I don't know which one will be the next one I start. I don't know if I'm going to start it before I finish the first one. I might start several of them before I finish the first one, just because I can. The other ones are these ones. I'm going to show you photos. This is the hedgehog, which I also find adorable. And then we have the chestnut and the pumpkin and the avenue and the squirrel. And these names are names that I made when I recreated the patterns. Actually, I don't remember what they call it in CrossStitcher Magazine, but it's in the latest. The pattern is from the latest issue, the one called October 2024. And I'm not the only one who finds them adorable or cute. I can hear or read on Instagram that a lot of people like them very much. Okay, the last thing, actually I think I'm going to tell you about the patterns that I purchased and then move on to the fully finished object, and then that's about it. You probably already know that I finished the last of the 4 caterpillar cross-stitch trees, and when I finished that, it was clear to me that I ran out of caterpillar cross-stitch patterns. Sometimes I like caterpillar cross-stitch pattern, obviously the trees, and I also stick the holes. There are some of them that it's just not my style, so I'm not going to stitch them, but I did find 2 that I'm going to start eventually. One is a Christmas one. It's called Dash Away. I am recreating it at the moment, and I'm going to change the colors as I did with the Autumn 3. I want to, of course, to stitch with colors I like more, and I might put in some of my silks. I don't know. Anyway, at the moment I'm just recreating the pattern, and then afterwards I'm going to change the colors, and then eventually it will be done. So that was the first of the caterpillar cross-stitch patterns, and the other one is a Halloween one. And since I'm stitching spooky in September, I decided to finish that one first. I mean, to recreate it first. And it's called Touch of Magic. And it's also in the same style as Dash Away and Deck Your Halls. And I did change some of the colors here as well. I have not kitted it up yet, but eventually I will. I might again here change some of the colors into some of my fancy floss, because I keep forgetting using it. Let's move to the last thing. These are my 4 trees by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I have finished all 4 of them in the same way, but with different the same hanger system, but different colors. If you have seen some of my older Flosstube, you have seen some of these. But this was the first one I made. It's Hello Dear. I began that, it must have been in 20 or 21. It was when it was a sal. It's stitched on, they are all stitched on 16 count Aida, and this is manuscript from Lakeside Needleworks, when I could still buy there. I love the subtleness of this fabric. So this is my winter, or Hello Dear. And the hangers are of course red, because it reminds me a bit of Christmas. It's not that this, keep putting it forth and back, it's not that it's very Christmassy. The next one, it just came out as a pattern. It's Hello Petter. It's the spring one. and I stitched it on Ada. I hand dyed myself, and I love the way the colors pop. So the first 3 trees I used the call for colors. I didn't change any colors. I didn't change any color. Anyway, the way I finish them, it's pretty easy. I just use this, I forgot the name, but you know what it is. And around the hangers, and that's it. It might not be the most beautiful backside, but this is the one you see when it's hanging on the wall, right? The nightmare tree was the summer tree. Hello, sunshine. I think there were 2 reasons for it to be a nightmare. I mean, it took me more than 3 years to finish. The first reason was probably because there was a lot of pink colors in it. And as you know, that's my least favorite color. And also I had stitched all the big motifs first, and that left all the little bits and bobs everywhere, and I had to change the color all the time. But eventually in my summer holiday I decided, no, now you just finish this one so you can be over with it and concentrate fully on the autumn tree. And I did. And this is how it looks. It's on printed fabric. It's called Amethyst Cloud. And now I really like it, even though it has a lot of pinkish colors. I think I really love these trees. So these were the first 3 trees. And then I bought the autumn tree, Hello Pumpkin. I bought it at the same time as I bought Hello Sunshine, I think. But I knew it was going to take a while before I would start stitching it, because I really didn't like the colors. Especially because it looked very wintry to me and not that very autumnal. And then I found out about onion skin, blah, 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 and the rest is history. So therefore I could now change the colors very easily, and I did. And I love it. I think it turned out so fantastic. The fabric is called Autumn Leaves. It's a printed fabric from Sew It All. I would really love more of this. I can see I need to iron a bit more. I love the way it makes the colors pop. And as you can see, I changed the colors. I only changed 5 of them. I removed the purple and the pink colors and the blue, I think, and changed it into something more brownish orange. And I think the result is very, very beautiful. And there's no doubt in my mind that this one is my favorite of the 4 trees. And of course, at the moment, it's hanging on my wall, and I love watching it every day. So, sorry for that. And let me see, I think that was the last one. No, I forgot one thing. I made a question for you on my community tab. Thank you very much to the 37 of you who were kind enough to answer that. I asked what you like to see in a Flosstube video. And as you can see, most people definitely like to see a mixture of project updates, plans, haul, and life update. I usually don't do much life update because there's not a lot of things going on in my life. But do let me know in a comment if you would like me to tell a bit more of my life. The reasons why I don't do it is that I don't think that you will find it interesting. But of course, if you would like to hear a bit more about it, then let me know in a comment, yeah? The last thing is kind of a mixture of maybe plans that involves cross-stitching and life update. In 2 years, in August, I will turn 60. When I turned 30, I had a smaller party. We were about 15 people, I think. When I turned 40, I held a party. We were about 35 people. When I turned 50, I held a party. We were about 50 people. And it was so much work. Of course, it was my own fault, but I didn't want to pay a restaurant for all the work because that was a lot of extra money. So I wanted to do it the cheapest way possible. But it was so much work, especially after my 50th birthday. We spent 9 hours the day after cleaning the room we had rented for the party. And I just said to myself, I'm not going to do this again. So when I turn 60, I will pay a restaurant or whatever, you know. I would not have it at home. I wouldn't, anyway. But the other day at my work, we got talking about partying because one of my colleagues had just celebrated her 50th birthday. And suddenly I heard myself say, I'm not sure I'm going to make a party. Especially now with the prices that have skyrocketed. A lot of food and beverage nowadays the prices have gone up between 30 and 50%. The inflation was never more than 10% here in Denmark. But the prices went up. Olive oil. It's not that I'm going to make a video about prices in Denmark, but just for an example, before 1 liter of olive oil, you could buy it for 65 kroner. Now, the same amount of olive oil, you have to pay the double, 120 kroner. That's absolutely insane. I know, especially with olive oil, there has also been problems with the supply, blah, blah, blah. But still, the prices went up 50%. So, to get back on track. When I heard myself say, I'm not sure I'm going to celebrate my 60th birthday, it got me thinking. Because yes, I do want to celebrate my 60th birthday. But not by paying a lot of money so family and friends can eat and drink. I want to celebrate me. What would make me a very happy 60-year-old woman? Maybe you have guessed it. Of course, that would be to attend a retreat, a cross-stitch retreat. I have never attended any cross-stitch retreats. There has been one in Switzerland, but apart from that, they all take place in the UK or America. But all that's in the future. Now it's time to go back to today and start editing this video. And I wish you all a very nice Sunday and a lot of great stitching. Until next time, bye.